Hello, everyone. You may be managing one property, maybe it's your own property, and you're thinking about expanding and managing multiple, but are really worried about the notion of managing multiple properties efficiently. And that's our topic today. We're going to go around the room. We're all have different backgrounds and have been managing multiple properties for many years now. So we hope to give you some advice on this topic. Who would like to jump in first on today's topic?
Well, I have a question, maybe just spur the topic in relation to launching multiple properties and whatnot. So Michael just did a launch. So I'd be curious to hear, like, what does the process look like? And from other launches that you've done to make it efficient, like, what does this look like? Like, what do you have? What do you?
I guess the thing is to make, in the beginning, you want to get some traction. So you want to get as many bookings, short bookings as possible in a quick amount of time so you can get the reviews. Because, like, for example, on Airbnb, they don't even show your star ratings until you get a minimum, I think it's 3 reviews. So you want to try to get short stays in the beginning, and you want to get really positive reviews. So basically, this last listing that I did all the things that I normally am loath to do, which was I lowered my minimum stays to 1 night. I only kept the calendar open for like 4 or 5 weeks because I didn't want and I put the prices artificially low. So I didn't want somebody booking out into the summer at the low prices. So that's why I closed the calendar down. 1 night stay. And then I'm going to be super good host to do the first few. I mean, unbelievably good, like offering better service than I normally would, which is, by the way, superb. And
No doubt.
Didn't just put the listing up and then wait to get the better photographs. I waited until we got all the professional photographs, and we worked on the listing way ahead of time, set up our auto messaging, which, by the way, managing multiple SDRs effectively, that's one of the best things you can do, is set up auto messaging, because that's really important. It's very time consuming. And
Just to clarify, Michael, when you say auto messaging, you're talking about on the property management software where, and there's tons of different software out there that you can use to manage multiple listings through Airbnb,
we use
VRBO, Direct,
Hospitable,
etc.
but basically when somebody makes a booking, it's like, hey, thanks for booking, blah, blah, blah. We'll give you check-in information closer to your trip. Then about 2 or 3 days ahead of time, we give them the address, we give them the thing. Our software creates a lock code, a temporary lock code that's only good for the duration of their stay. And then, like, first morning, hey, how's it going? Is everything great? And then little reminders along the way, checkout instructions. And these are all timed to during the trip, and it'll even generate automatic reviews for you. And now they've been incorporating the AI into it so they can even anticipate answers to guest questions. The nice thing is that it'll formulate a reply, and then you get to decide if you like it, which is getting pretty smart, because I've been now taking a lot of them 100%, especially where you have to have a difficult conversation. I just click the suggest with AI, and it's way more polite than I would be. Getting back to the launch, we launched like about 48 hours ago, and just on this call, we got our first booking. I was really nervous about the instant book. And so we'll see how it goes.
Nice.
Yeah. No, I think that the more things that you incorporate into what Airbnb wants you to incorporate,
yes,
the higher they will rank you in their search results when people are searching for a property. Instant book, the minimum number of nights, the pricing,
least
all
amount
of
of
those
barriers
things.
to somebody booking.
Yes.
The only thing is, the caliber of guest is really the only question that feel I'm a little vulnerable to. But we'll see. Next week I might be crying, okay, with my sob stories. But for now, we're good.
Well, that's a risk that we all take for every single reservation that comes in. But we rely on Airbnb's host coverage and the same with VRBO. And if you're doing direct bookings, then you need to vet the guests correctly.
Yeah, automations are key. Automated door code creation. Anytime you have to do something 2 or 3 times, try and automate it, or at least turn it into a process. Like, cleaner notifications. I like to, for my own sanity. So as soon as a cleaning is booked, obviously it goes to the cleaner as a notification. And then each week I have my virtual assistant, this is a process, send out the next 30 days of what the schedule looks like to each cleaner. That's a manual process. And then the night before, an automation goes out, notification to cleaner, just a reminder, you have a clean at this particular property. That particular automation has saved me a few times, because sometimes when a guest changes their checkout date or whatnot, that doesn't go as an update to the cleaner. That's why I have the double down of the next 30 days out each week. This is what the next 30 days looks like, is my second down, like, reminder. And then the evening before is, don't forget, you're cleaning this particular property tomorrow. So, and that's all automated through my property management software. And then quick replies. So Airbnb has a schedule. So they've got scheduled messages on Airbnb and they have quick replies. And same thing. Actually, I don't know if you could do quick replies on my PMS, but I have shortcuts on my phone. So if someone's like, can I have an early check-in? I have a shortcut where I think I type in EARCHK and it will spit out an entire paragraph of being like, absolutely, I'd love to if I can, and let me, So I love the quick replies tool or shortcuts on my phone to do those same messages all over and over and over again. Oh, could you recommend some restaurants? I always get that one. Like, I just type in 6 letters and a whole paragraph spits out in a reply. So you can answer, in 5 seconds instead of like, oh my God, I really want to give this person extraordinary service.
That's great advice, Dina. I use that shortcut on the phone for Facebook if somebody has a birthday and I want to wish them happy birthday, and I've got the little emojis and whatever, so I just type in HB and it says, happy birthday, hope you have a great day or whatever it is. But that's clever to put in something like that for a question that you get often from guests.
Even for my so someone will message me. I have shortcuts for URLs to my website for each listing and URLs for the link to the Airbnb listing, because you can only share Airbnb links within Airbnb. So if someone's like, oh, I have an oversized dog in this particular property, I will punch in, let's say I'm like, oh, you can't stay at this unit. So then I punch in URL is my Airbnb URL 8301, and it'll spit out that string. So I don't have to go and let me get the URL for that to share it with you. Like, everything is a shortcut on my phone, and I just have a little bit of a process. Like, if it's a link to my website for that same property, it'll be keys, KEYS 8301, and it'll spit out the custom link to that listing on my website. So everything is a shortcut. So anytime there's a message, it's like 7 digits, 6 digits, and away you go. You've got all the information that you need. So that's how I run it for efficient manual messaging. Is anytime I have to answer someone a couple of times, I just make a shortcut on my keyboard shortcut. And this is on my iPhone. If anyone's curious what I'm talking about, you go to your settings, you go to your keyboard, text shortcuts, and then you can create a shortcut. So free. There you go.
Ray, what about you? How do you deal with managing multiple listings efficiently?
Yeah. So I have a lot to say about this, actually. So at the height of my short-term rental career, I had over 35 units across LA, Bay Area, and Austin. And the one thing that I found really important was to have my VAs really understand the process and with everything. So what I did at the very beginning, which I am super proud of, is to get all of the processes documented, put into Loom videos, do those trainings. And if someone gets confused about something, I had my main VA triage it out to the rest of the VAs. So we had FAQs documented. So if they needed anything, they would just go into the Google Docs, search whatever that thing is. If it's not in there, then they ask me or the main VA manager the question. And once they get the answer, they put it into the FAQs. Another thing that I found really helpful was to get a channel manager. So if you're starting to scale big, more than I'd even say like 5 units, a channel manager is super important, like your Lodgifies, your Guesties, your Hostaways. And then with that, get some pricing tools in your tech stack, because the pricing tools are going to help you out. You don't have to go search and do a bunch of research in your different markets. So like when I had multiple different markets in my portfolio, I would just go on to like Price Labs and just kind of use that and lean on that a lot. If you're trying to go cheaper on the channel managers, you can even go cleaning management and maintenance tools. I think there was you guys can, I don't remember the exact cleaning.
You're thinking of Breezeway?
Breezeway, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't want to have a channel manager and you kind of want to just like manage things just in Airbnb. You can just get Breezeway. And that can help you with your cleaning management, your maintenance management, log everything. But if you're managing for multiple other owners, then those Logify, Guesties, Hostaways, those types of channel managers help because you do have to pull reports and it'll be so much easier for you to kind of figure out your life from there. And then one last thing to say about this is before you hire any VAs, you have to figure out what you don't like to do first. So if you're in your first 2 or 3 properties, just figure out where you want to spend most of your time. If you're finding out that you're spending a lot of time messaging a lot of people, dealing with cleaners, dealing with that, and you don't like that. For myself, I have ADHD, so I hate doing all the repetitive motions. I want to do the things where it's revenue generating. So I pushed all of those tasks to someone to kind of handle. So I think it's important to kind of have the things that you want to do in your business and enjoy, and the more non-exciting things, have someone else do it.
So you mentioned VAs, virtual assistants, and all of us in the group have virtual assistants, mostly, I think maybe exclusively in the Philippines. I'm curious to get each one of your answers regarding at what number of properties do you recommend to hire your first VA?
I can jump in. I hired my first VA at 3.
3.
Yeah. Because I was working a full-time job, a 9 to 5 in the Bay Area. So I didn't want to handle everything and couldn't really.
Yeah.
So a VA it made sense. So at that point, I don't think I was making enough money for the units to pay for the VA. So I used some of my funds from like work to pay. But once I did that, I was able to scale from 3 to like 10 really quickly within the first like 6 months of operating.
Yeah, I think it definitely helps you to scale. What about Michael and Dina? What do you guys think?
I'm not a good person to ask. I don't have any right now. And I got 20 listings.
All right.
I should have one.
Well,
We did have 2 at one point, but we didn't do what Ray said. We didn't have SOPs, we didn't have balloon videos, so we weren't ready for them. And so we just didn't know how to manage them. So I totally second everything Ray said about being prepared for them.
So Dina, if you can give your answer, and then we'll go over to Michael for the notion of not needing to hire a VA.
Well, honestly, like if I didn't do so much direct booking, I don't know if I'd need a VA either. Find the automations. I don't have a lot of guest back and forth communication with those automations. You kind of stay ahead of the curve, ahead of the question curve. You get everybody's answers filled out. It's only in those emergencies, and usually those ones, I'm the only person that can answer those questions. For some whatever bizarre reason is happening, I have to step in and take over that conversation because I don't like putting my VA in the middle of it and being like, say this. But with direct bookings is where I really utilize her time filling out contracts, making sure that the fees are collected on schedule, preparing. Like she does my invoice preparation and expenses. But honestly, if you don't have a big portfolio, I don't know if you need one if you're not doing a lot of like direct booking and a lot of inquiries coming through the website.
Well, I want to add something to that topic, because this is one of the few industries where we have 2 different sets of clients. And that is, and I'm talking about if you're managing properties, if you're a property manager for other people who have homes, if you're not doing arbitrage for yourself where you're renting a property and then re-renting it on the platforms, etc. So yes, I think that VAs are very helpful in dealing with guest issues and bookings and all those things. But then you've also got the aspect of marketing to get new properties. And I think their VAs can be tremendously useful in terms of helping you on the marketing side. We have our VAs put together lists of existing Airbnbs, and they find the addresses and the owners, etc. And we do postcard mailings and reach out to them to generate new properties. So yeah, I mean, I think that you need to look at both of those sides.
Yeah, for sure. And I liked with Ray too, like if you're not a property manager who's full-time property manager, if you've got another job, then for sure you want somebody who can step in when you're, working if you can't answer. For me, it was just like, I think I hired one at 15 only because everyone's like, you need one. But I was like, honestly, everything's automated. I didn't. And still to this day, she doesn't work. She works 8. She's supposed to be working 8 hours, but she probably has 4 hours worth of work a day, if that. And working with her, we've built automations and everything's scheduled. So it's all done in batches. And that's for me a big efficiency thing. I don't do a lot of things every day, like accounting, bookkeeping, expenses, receipts all happen on like the 27th of every month, period. Like we don't bounce back and forth as receipts come in. You don't deal with that as they come in. So anytime she needs to do a battery report, if we're driving, whoever's driving around, she does that once a week, takes a look at the batteries. If anything's under 20 or 25, then she puts out that report. So then on the next trip, we replace them all. There's really like one of our hosts has so many VAs. I'm like, what are they doing? Yeah, but one, and I haven't kept her busy, and I'm at 30 some odd properties. So
Wow, that's amazing. So Michael, how have you been able to scale to 20 properties and not have any VAs?
Well, I would first start by saying it's not that I don't need one. It's just that I don't have one because I could probably use one.
Right.
So the thing that I kind of need a VA can't do, which is boots on the ground, like the stuff where, okay, supply is needed or minor maintenance or there's something with the heat. Because on the communication end, which is what a lot of people use them for, I mean, when I read our reviews and stuff, that's the part that people really like for whatever reason. They think Gina's my daughter, they really like the way we handle them and our communication skills and stuff. And I'm sure there's a way for us to have a way to teach that as far as the way our brand works that way. But there's a very personal thing that people really like. And we kind of enjoy that in a weird way, not when there's problems. And so we just haven't really been motivated enough to farm that part out, which seems like the simplest thing to assign to a VA. But sometimes when the messages and the things come in fast and furious, we could see that, well, we really don't have to be personally answering this message or that message. So it's inevitable. Let me just put it that way. We will be doing it.
Yeah, it does make your life a lot easier when you have them.
Yeah. So it's not like I would advise not having VAs. We just haven't done it yet.
Right. Okay, so we talked about VAs, virtual assistants. We've talked about having the right software to be able to manage pricing and your calendar, etc. And I think that you don't have to be on more than one platform. I mean, Airbnb, for us, I can honestly say we're probably 80-something% of our bookings come through Airbnb. Maybe it's less now because we're getting more direct bookings, but you can rely, if you don't want to complicate your life and you're fine with Airbnb, then you may not need some of these other softwares. You can still use just Airbnb. I would not recommend using Airbnb's suggested pricing because it puts in that pricing for their own advantage to get more and more bookings through them. It's not necessarily the best pricing for you. So I would say that having a pricing software is really something that's key. But anything else that you guys can think of? I mean, I think that Ray brought up the notion of the cleaners, and so did Dina, and being able to manage those efficiently. Because when you're dealing with multiple different listings, that's key. I mean, this business relies on when people arrive at the property, if the place is not clean, you're not going to get a good review.
Yeah, that's certainly a full topic discussion.
Yes, yes, it
And
definitely is.
efficiencies on that front too. Yeah. What are we talking about next week?
So the topic for next week is pricing tools, setting nightly rates. So we get together every week on a Tuesday, and we record an episode on a different topic each week. Please like this episode, share it with friends. Add this to your favorites, etc. And we'll be here again next week. If you have any questions, feel free to email us. Dina, what's the best email for people to send questions to?
therealhosts@gmail.com, or you can join us in our Facebook group, which is The Real Hosts on Facebook.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we will be here again next week talking about pricing tools. Bye-bye for now.